Morning, it's Dr. Manny from Break the Cage MD. Let's run through the entrepreneurial series again. Part one, we said entrepreneurship was a journey. Part two, we said entrepreneurship was power. See, part three, we said entrepreneurship was science. Part four, we said entrepreneurship was art. Part five, which was yesterday, we said entrepreneurship is is kairos. Today, we're adding that entrepreneurship is mythos. So mythos is the way I think about it. The way most people think about it is mythology, storytelling, narrative. I prefer a definition that honors more of the pattern recognition, the fuzzy artificial intelligence approach, attention to contingencies. Um, as this applies to entrepreneurship, it's the ability to go back and look at the stories, the various stories that are being told through behavior patterns in communities, in society, in various places, and identify a story that is aligned with your story, a story that has under it um, the bones of core values that you share. Because what you learn in most narrative structure and once you get an understanding of narrative based statistical inference, which is looking at a bunch of noise and pulling the signal from the noise, the story, the causality, the associations that aren't necessarily causality but allow you to make certain loose inferences. When you're able to do that with the data, um, then you're able to create a mythos. Now, along those same lines, I want to point out that in leadership, there's two styles of leadership. There's task-based leadership, and then there's ethos-based leadership. Ethos comes later in the discussion, so I'm giving you a little foreshadow, foreplay, whatever you want to call it. I'm messing with you. Um, so you want to think in terms of there are leaders that are task based and uh, leaders that are ethos based. Your task based leaders are able to walk in there and see the data, but not and they see what they would call in statistical inference the descriptive data, the descriptive statistics. Now, um, in an organization, we would refer to this as your KPI, your key performance indicators. Now, what you want to do is bridge that gap and move over to ethos, which we will talk about later. Um, Again, double rub. I'm still messing with you. Um, you want to be able to move to your other leader in your org, your ethos based leader, because they're able to look at the core values of the organization so that the data becomes emotionally relevant. The data becomes value aligned and framed and positioned in a frame of reference so that your target audience cares. Your target audience is motivated to do something about it. Your target audience is able to organize based off the linguistic community of meaning that you've created based off of your interpretation of the data. Eventually, I'm gonna have to go back and organize that concept. I know this, but for now, it's just about getting it out. Another thing to point out is that when I'm talking about linguistic communities of meaning and linguistic communities of value, you want to keep in mind that a lot of times in leadership, it's not the words that people are listening to; it's the prosody, it's the rhythm, it's the staccatos, it's the vibratos, it's the rise and fall of the intonation of the leaders. That's the subliminal aspect. I should probably point out that mythos competes with logos. Mythos is what they call implicational working memory for you geeks out there. It's stepping into a room and gaining the meaning on a subliminal level, social intelligence or interpersonal dynamic intelligence or situational intelligence before you have the words, the logos, the propositional working memory, before you have the the younger part of your brain ready to communicate it as words. Because if you keep in mind, you're able to communicate with a baby way before the baby is able to speak. Yet, as we get older, we move towards the propositional logic as if that was the end all be all. That's dumb. That's maladaptive. I don't mean dumb in a bad way. I mean dumb in a in an empathic, warm, fuzzy way. Okay? So I think I've covered that concept from multiple angles. The book cover went on Amazon yesterday, which is extra motivation to like get these chapters out and tight faster. Uh, it was available for pre-sale until July 3rd, which is I think July 3rd is the anticipated launch date. Also, of course, 420 uh, in a week, we're launching Journey to Collective Leadership. That's with me, Andy Bryan, and the great Katrina Fan Cook. I hope I'm pronouncing that right with the silent P. Yeah. Um, what else? Today at 3 p.m. EST, we're going to be on Elaine's Holy Shift show. That's a shift with an F. Yeah. So check that out. And if you miss it and you're catching this video much later, check it out on demand. Otherwise, break the cage. MD. Dr. Manny signing out.